So there's was it Jay McDonald that did the dancing game?
Secret Dance Off.
Yeah, I didn't actually play Secret Dance Off, but I ran to the website after he had passed away because someone said that he did play. And it was like a challenge to try to figure out who he was because this game involved dancing with masks on, not letting, you weren't really supposed to tell who people were, and you played most of the time, but he did a pretty good job of hiding who he was. It was really easy for me though because he always wore the same sneakers, and I could tell immediately that it was the sneakers.
I think he was dancing on a dresser.
Yeah.
He was standing on the dresser.
And you could see his son's toys too. That was the other thing, and that the same toys as in some of the pictures that we saw on the song profile.
Yeah, I think Jane posted maybe in the Unfiction thread that he left one last gift in the Top Secret Dance-Off. And I went through all those videos also, and when I found them, I was just, it made me smile for the first time in days. So I wanted to bring up something because people may be wondering exactly how was Dave a pioneer since maybe not all of this stuff sounds very groundbreaking now. So I was thinking about it, and there are three things that Dave did that people didn't really do at the time that he did them. He was one of the first transmedia practitioners to openly take credit for his work. At the time he started making games, PM teams and alternate reality games were made in secret, behind closed doors. And they did not announce who was on the team sometimes at all. And sometimes it wasn't announced until well after the game was over. And so there were a lot of hotly debated topics about should the PMs even announce themselves? You know, is that just going too far and this and that? When Dave, I think that Chasing the Wish was announced ahead of time. Is that right, Michelle?
Yeah, there was some. It wasn't a countdown, but there was a build up to it beforehand.
Right. So the fact that that he would announce that something was a Dave Szulborski game caused a lot of people to get angry about it because, you know, that's breaking the curtain. Another thing that he did was meta signups. Like I said, with Chasing the Wish, there was a sign-up place, and that was in 2003. People just didn't do that back then. You had to kind of stumble upon things and find them ahead of time. Now that's pretty standard. You know, you can go and do a meta sign-up and not consider yourself taken out of the experience to do so. He was also one of the first people to make that leap from indie puppet master to professional. So he really did kind of pave the way for a lot of the rest of us. I'm done now.
The other thing that he did was kind of amazing is that, like, years before the word crowdsourcing was even a word, he would pull players aside and bring them just a little bit behind the curtain and let them play out and be behind the scenes players. And that was something. I mean, now we have like a whole dynamic, like we have a whole system of ideas for thinking about crowdsourcing and player-created content and all of that. But this was something like a lot more intimate, and there was a lot of trust there because, you know, if you were behind the curtain, you were supposed to be behind the curtain, and nobody knew you were working on it.
I think that Chasing the Wish was pretty much built like that, if I'm recalling correctly. He had certain people playing certain characters, and they had very much tunnel vision. They only knew exactly what they needed to know in order to write the piece that they were writing at the time. They had no idea what was going to happen to their character, what was going to happen to other characters. They just knew exactly that little square of information for the time.
I don't think you wanted to take away the opportunity from anyone to be able to enjoy these games. So, you know, I need someone to write this. Okay, this is what you need to know. You know, you can't obviously talk about that, but you can still play along and enjoy everything else. Yeah, we always joked that we were going to, that our making the games was actually like a big game that he was making for us, and he was going to launch the PM ARG any day.
Well, and he sort of did that to me with Art Talk, which was something that was another hot debate in the community, which Art Talk started out in the guise of an alternate reality game news site, and it turned out being a trailhead for an ARG. And he started the site all by himself, was writing these pieces, put out a call for writers, which people submitted pieces for. I'm one of them. And on the back end, he emailed me. He said, hey, are you available? I'm starting this kind of a neat project, and I was wondering if you'd like to do it. And I said, sure, I'm available. What you got? And the same day I'd submitted my Art Talk piece, and he said, oh, it's Art Talk. I was like, what? So anyway, he pulled the PM ARG on me.
I still can't play with bubble wrap or hear bubble wrap without thinking of this game. So,
Bubble wrap.
do you understand? Sorry, that was actually just a comment for Dave.
There was a really terrible audio sequence that went with this game, and it had terrible, terrible sound effects. And one of them, it was supposed to be a car getting pulled over, and it sounded like bubble wrap instead. It was a running joke. Anyway.
Well, we don't want to drag this out too long.
Yeah, without a Q&A, it's really hard to end this.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone has any questions. Yeah.
One thing on top of any questions you might have,
Oh,
maybe some stories.
Yeah, Dave stories.
But I'll hand it off to Mike and he'll take charge from here.
Yeah, there better not be a jacket for this one.
Before I take the questions, the stories, I did want to make one comment that in the video gaming space for a couple of years, there's been that question of when are we going to get a game that makes people cry, and because of Dave's work, I've always thought that question was ridiculous, because the stories that he told really ran the gamut of the emotions, where he didn't just make you cry, he made you laugh, he made you afraid, he did everything. And I think that's really one of the powerful things he brought to this space, is showing that it is such a powerful world where you can bring about these emotions, that a lot of the reason we're sitting here talking about this is because his stories touched us. Now, talking about those stories,
I'll see if I can get this out. ARGFest-Boston. I was in the restaurant at the hotel with another committee member, Rose, and Dave walked in. So we invited him to sit with us. So he sat down with us and we were chatting about ARGFest and what was going to happen. And he said that he had just driven from Pennsylvania to get to Boston. And not only had he driven straight through from wherever he was in Pennsylvania to Boston to come to ARGFest, he had done his chemo in the car on the way because he didn't want to miss it. And that just struck me that he was so excited about coming to ARGFest and being the keynote speaker that he put his personal health aside so that he could be there on time. And that's all I can say.
else?
You know, people talked earlier about some of these games are like a love letter to your fans, to show them that you love them, and every game of Dave's showed that.
And what Marie just said, I mean, who would drive to ARGFest? Who would want to be with their fans so much and love their fan base and their friends so much that they would hang their chemo bag in their car and drive? I mean, he loved this genre, he loved the people who played the games, and he loved making them.
Well, I want to thank the panel for doing such a great job of this tribute today. So thank you, Dee. It was nice having you on the Skype today. We're sorry you couldn't be here, that's for sure. Dee, I don't know if we talked at the beginning of my introduction, but Dee is one of our directing committee members as well. She's done a bang-up job helping us out with that. And of course, Michelle and Pixie and Haley, thanks for helping us remember Dave so vividly and sharing the stories, the personal stories that you have with him. So thank you very much. Let's hear it for them.